and welcome to Conversations with T. Today we have Alberta's top businesswoman, Mrs. Kemi Bolatito Bello. She joins us on Conversations to discuss the challenges and promises of doing business in Alberta. Good afternoon, Mrs. Bolatito Bello. Welcome to
Okay,
Conversations.
good to see you again. Yeah, really nice having me. So I'm here. Hi, everyone.
I wanted this conversation because I overheard the roundtable that you were with, and I was really inspired and empowered by it. And I wanted to hear just a little bit more. So you own two businesses, or maybe even more, bulk buy in the south and in the north. Is
We're
that what
on Northwest.
in the west? I want you to talk to people who are listening to this briefly. How easy was it to start your business?
Ah, well, I wouldn't say, I would just say I was very headstrong in terms of because that's what I wanted to do and I went for it. So I wouldn't say it's easy. It's not a walk in the a ball in the park and you just grow with it. No, it's something that you have to do a lot of calculated move in terms of research. And for me, I had started out of the passion that I had, that I wanted to do a business. So I just didn't know exactly what it is. But with time, for me getting involved with food, I know food is essential, is a need, human need. It's something that everybody will need. And I've always loved food, like in terms of either I'm making the food or, attending to guests or, just making people feel good in terms of what they are eating. So that's why I saw the need in our community and that's why I go for it. For starting a business or even growing the business, it's quite a big challenge, especially for us Black immigrants. It's really, people don't understand what you're trying to do in terms of when you're trying to talk to lenders or banks. They don't understand your food. They don't understand who eats it. They don't understand your market. They don't have enough data to be able to work with you. And so the assessment is based on generally, I think they grouped us as restaurants. So, which is not, right? That's not what we do. So I try to fight that with them, especially during COVID time, because we started right before COVID. And so we're right in the middle of COVID. So banks were looking at businesses based on their risk factors. Restaurants are closing up and stuff like that. And they want you to be able to tell them, will you be able to sustain yourself, during this COVID time? And so you have to do a lot of explanations. So, and those, when you're starting a new business, nobody want to give you money because you're new and all they have is probably a piece of paper that says this is my business plan, um this is my forecast for my in terms of sales and my profit that I expected to get. So most people don't believe, most lenders don't believe in that. So the challenge now comes to where are you going to get the money? So like for me, I leverage on some couple of people in my network. I used up all my personal and my husband's personal credits, like max them up in terms of a line of credits, credit cards, everything that has to do as much as I can get on our name. I was able to get it because at that point they don't know your business doesn't have any credit history. So all they use, even till date, is still our personal credit. They will pull our credit before they will even look at the business first. So those are the challenges you will have for a business of the kind of skill that we deal with. So for people that maybe are creating something or providing a service, it will become another challenge. Maybe it's marketing. They needed to, do more, or in terms of for people to trust their services. Maybe you are an accountant, you provide services for for businesses. Maybe you're a lawyer. So those are like different, depending on what kind of business you're doing, now determine the kind of challenge. But the general challenge I've seen most with Black people and immigrants is mostly in terms of accessing funds with the traditional banks. It's very difficult. So that's my observation and my experience, my lived experience so far.
Okay. Thank you very much. Just now in your introduction, you said so many things, and I wanted to unpack it one at a time. When you started this business, were you able to, what was your support network like? I hear you had your husband, but did you have maybe a colossus of friends that were your support system? Or maybe you've got relatives in banks who were able to support you as you started the business. So what was your support system like?
Well, that's one thing that have actually worked well for me in terms of um, people supporting me, like for this business. I received a lot of support from my small network in terms of maybe people that I've met or people that have met me. So even if they are not buying something from me, they are telling somebody to buy something from me,
All right.
or they are referring me. I have friends in Fort Mac that would tell someone to tell someone to tell someone and say, oh, I have somebody that sells food in Edmonton, she will send it to you. She's just doing it in her own little way of, that's one huge thing we've seen. And I've talked to people, even in terms of, oh, can you just invest in us, and stuff like that, or just give us some loan. And I've had somebody that given me some money initially when we wanted to start it, and then we later returned, like at least 2 people that I spoke with, even getting their line of credit for me. That's huge. And I had to pay back and make sure I pay back their interest, because the bank would charge them for that period I took it as well. So those are like huge support in terms of that I received, that some other people may not be able to get that. So that kind of, even sometimes I want some kind of expertise in terms of people that have worked in, operations, that worked in logistics, in terms of how to be able to plan the way we do our operations. So I've spoken with some friends that had experience in terms of where they've worked, they've been able to or they are working at, and things that they've done in those bigger organizations that I can incorporate into our own operations as well, because we have a very more kind of, though we are a smaller business and a smaller grocery store, so it's still not different from other big retail store in terms of how the operation works, because we have a circle of how things come into the store and how they go out of the store. So we still need to maintain that kind of system. Sometimes I've leveraged a lot on other businesses or small businesses too for support. So in terms of networking, in terms of, oh, I don't have this money to order this, can you give it to me? I sell it and I'll pay you back. So I've leveraged on that as well, that people will give us goods and then we'll sell and then we'll pay back. So that's one thing. You have to keep your integrity at, make sure that your integrity is 100% with suppliers that give you goods on credit and expect you to pay back. Make sure you pay back. You don't just take their goods and then you don't pay back. So I've leveraged on those kind of support and network with people, and just be out there and ask questions. I've always done that. I've always asked questions. I don't know how this is done. I've always walk up to people and then I ask questions. Then if also in terms of networking, what I do is I just want to be part of, maybe there is a meeting somewhere, there is a training or webinar somewhere. I always want to be part of it as much as I have the time, then to get more, information, knowledge, resources that I need, and just network on, sharing ideas with people. That really helped too in terms of support that I've received. Yes.
it's really heartwarming because when you speak to people, they say, "Oh, Black people don't help each other," or "Nigerians don't help each other." That people would take their line of credit and offer that to you to start your business. It nullifies and counteracts that. So that's very heartwarming and encouraging, even to hear that people still out there willing to support and to help. It takes me to another point you mentioned, accessing funds. Would you would you say that the experience is different, that things are different now after the pandemic in terms of accessing funds in traditional banks, or things are still as difficult as when you were looking for money and they were asking you all this, putting different barriers before you? Has anything changed?
Nothing has changed.
Mm,
So I don't think much has changed. They just develop new products. They will call it Black Entrepreneur Loan. So I can see some of the banks, I won't mention their names, they just present it. So there's no difference between that and their, all the forms you have to fill, they still have to pull your credits and, there's no difference between that and what we had before COVID or what we had before now. That, I know that government is trying to make commercial banks to come into lending to small businesses, especially Black entrepreneurs. And there are a lot of programs bringing from left, right, and center that are like we are helping entrepreneurs or Black entrepreneurs and stuff like that, maybe via the funding. I just want to see more of what they can do for people that are in small, like really minute
okay.
businesses, businesses that are mom and pop shop, like what are the effects? What are you doing if I have language barrier to be able to speak English to you at the bank on a Black entrepreneurship loan? Do you have an advisor that can help me come to my level because I'm only fluent in Swahili or I'm only fluent in some other languages from Africa, right?
Mrs. Bolatito Bello, the entrepreneurship ecosystems, about two or three in this city. Are you saying none of that? You can find a Swahili interpreter at one of these ecosystems, whether BCW or Canadian Imperial. Are they not effective at this micro level?
Well, I want to see more, like in terms of access to those programs, because they are fairly new. So it's not like they've been here. Some of them are just getting their funding, they're just getting started. So they are fairly new to
Or do
the
they offer services that you need? Do
other.
the
I
services
can
make a
speak language.
difference
I'm
to?
only speaking generally
All
for
right.
those really small businesses driving this economy, right? That
Okay.
those are the people I'm really speaking for. I'm not speaking for maybe bigger organizations. I'm speaking for one-man show or a family-run businesses that don't have access to as much information as even for somebody like me could have access to.
All right.
So it's because I'm fully online that I know that there's CIA, right? So
Mhm.
what about people that doesn't even have any social media? They are
All right.
not. So are there like recruiters or some legwork in terms of people,
I get what you're saying.
visiting small businesses, Black-owned businesses? Go on 118 Avenue
I was just thinking
from west
118.
down.
I
They are
was
all owned by Black people. Like
just
118, they should rename that road. 118 down, you see barbers shop, you see all kinds of
Black businesses.
salon.
Mm-hmm.
You, do you get what I'm trying to say? Like,
Yeah, I hear you.
have we break the services by these organizations? They are very new, so I can't say much right now. I believe I still want to attend. I think they have an event next weekend. I want to be part of the event
Who
to
has the
probably
event?
bring this up. CIA, Canadian Imperial Advantage.
Okay, okay,
So
okay.
I want to attend to see how best. like to even raise it with them, like people that are not online, people that don't have email access or
How do they
use of
benefit from?
computer, they are not using it for their business. How do we help them? I know yesterday there's email all around, like everybody's just sharing, oh, digital adoption program is out.
Yeah.
Digital adoption program, this person cannot even use, they have people, accountant, people that work with them in terms of even applying for anything with CRA, right?
Mm-hmm.
So are they able to even go online or have that information for them to be able to apply for programs like digital adoption program, where they can take their business from just being a small scale business to an
Yeah.
online, right? So
Yeah.
those are the things that I want to see happen. Like
Mm-hmm.
you have to reach out. You don't have to expect them to come to you first, but you
Yeah.
have to reach out and say, what do you need? These are the services we provide. What do you need in your business? How can we help your business to scale up,
All
right?
right.
So
Okay.
there have to be very deliberate efforts on the part of those organizations that are funded by the federal government to reach out to those small businesses in Edmonton, in
Help.
Alberta,
Mm.
those real small businesses. So I'm talking about those that have maybe brick and mortar. I'm even starting from those with brick and mortar and existing right now. I'm not
Mm.
even starting from people that have probably been caterer and they've been doing catering services from home for like maybe 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years. And when we know these people have value, they provide some value and they can do better if they moved into a commercial kitchen or if they moved into scale of their business, that maybe we have an hub of commercial kitchens for all the caterers, the bakers, all of them come together, you know, be able to use an affordable facility to make their products and, you know, available to people. So how can we help those people, those creatives, those maybe people like you in the media? No, it has to come down to them. It has to, we have to be able to reach out to small
Mm.
people and be able to seek their need, exact need. It's not about just people, like when they hear business plan, it's very intimidating. Like you hear, oh, banks and all the banks, they all ask for it. When you hear that, you even me, like it's so intimidating, you know, how can I go about this? So, and people don't have the time because this is mostly side hustle to them to sit down and be writing business plan. Like it's very, very hard. I still haven't finished mine even after 2 years. I keep rewriting, rewriting, rewriting. It's very, very tough. So it's like you're writing your resume to apply to some. So when you want to write to another person, you have to kind of rearrange things. And then as you are growing, you have to be adding those data and information to it. So those are the challenges that are there. So we need help in those areas, and we need those help to trickle down to everyone, not just in Ontario alone, everyone in this country, every nooks and cranny of this country needs to
Mm.
get those, feel those impact of those ecosystem funds. So
Mm.
it's good to make those announcements, but we need to see it on the streets. We need to see people are actually benefit from it.
Okay, so I'd like to ask you two questions, Mrs. Bolatito Bello. You talked about brick and mortar. Could you just clarify to those maybe who are not sure what you meant just now by brick and mortar business? And then the second question is, as Black people, as Black business people, what can we ourselves do to empower ourselves? I get the government needs to do their bit, but what can we do to empower ourselves to do business maybe in the more prosperous ways? What are your insights concerning that?
Brick and mortar means that you have a front store, a commercial space for your
All right.
business. So that's what I mean. Like you
Yeah.
can walk into a physical store. I know some people do business. Like this morning, I met two small business owners and they are still working from home. So one is creating, you know, she makes um, bags, shoes, and handmade, like she makes all those um, you know, creative products like that. So she sells online, an e-commerce. She runs an e-commerce store.
Yeah.
That's not a brick and mortar. So a brick and mortar is where you like open a commercial
That's
front, not
physical
your
business.
house, like a building that you probably lease or own, and then you pay rent or you pay your mortgage on that commercial space. That's what I mean by brick and mortar. Then secondly, to your question on how to help each other in as Black business owners, I think is more or less like
What we can do to help ourselves.
what we can do to help ourselves. Yes. So we can help ourselves by what we are doing right now, by educating each other, by advocating, and as well as by being open to speak about your own lived experience as a business owner to other, the two young ladies I met this morning, they were asking me, talking about accountants. Do you get, like, they've been struggling and all that? So I was able to like point them to some directions of what to do and who to speak to in terms of how to be able to get there. Oh, I have QuickBooks online, but it's difficult. I really can't get hold of how to be able to do it. So I told them myself, I'm not an accountant, I'm not trained accountant, right? So you need to speak to somebody that will be able to help you do your books because you don't have those skills to be able to do it, right? So those are we need to create rooms, platforms. CIA is doing something like that. So like the invite I got last week was for business owners to come together. They call it a round table to come together and talk about, that's networking. When you are in that room or when you're in that space, you'll be able to ask questions and people will be able to, share some experiences and what you can do. So there could be, I see a lot of seminars, though most of them are virtual right now, that are done by Black Chamber of Commerce, Black Opportunity Fund, and CIA, a lot of them like that, they are online. That I follow them personally online. So that's why I'm able to know that. Also, BCW, like they're having an event this evening. So platforms like that will be able to bring people together and be able to help each other. And as a business owners too, don't be afraid to be able to, go approach other business owners to be able to ask for help or guidance. Or, I have a lady that always call me, like, if she is probably having any issue or she needed anything, she will just call. And if whatever I know, I'll share with her, right? So it's really important that you reach out yourself. You can't say I'm a shy person and I don't talk, I don't do social media, and you want to run business. It's not done. Nobody is saying you should put your life out there, but put your business out there. So you have to be able to, if you have grown enough to be able to pay, use paid ad, pay advert, pay for adverts on media like LCC or any other ones that you felt it can reach your market. So just put yourself out there or put your business out there so for people to know about it, and you go from there. So those are the areas and ways to be able to help ourselves in terms of networking and sharing, willingness to share information for people that needed those information. So I believe those are the areas that, for now, those are the areas that, like, the foundational one we need is more of a networking, in organizations that are being funded by the government to be reaching out to people to say, come, let's help you, put these informations together, let's help you with this application, fill out these forms and stuff like that. So that would really help our community.
Thank you so much for your insight there, Ms. Bolatito Bello. I wanted to ask you a final question. What would you say, therefore, is a promise of doing business in Alberta for Black immigrants?
A promise. Did you say a promise?
What is the promise of doing
Oh,
business?
premise.
No, promise. What is the
Promise.
hope for
Oh,
Black
okay.
immigrants to do business here? Why would they choose Alberta? Why would someone even say they wanted to start a business Is there any promise? Is there anything to look forward to for Black immigrants to do business here?
Oh, the way the world has really exploded with the internet and social media, it's not even about your location right now. It's
Mm,
about what you have. Does your services or products, does it meet a need in the, whether it's online, whether it's physical? It's about, is there a need for your business? So if it's something my need or my business, maybe I'm making um, skin products or hair products, a lot of Black people now, they do their natural hair now. So, and they want to maintain it and they want to make it look good. So if I have that knowledge or I've done that training to be able to make hair product for people, I'm not limited by being in Alberta. So it's like all Black people in not even Canada, in North America, would, if my product is good enough, would be interested in you trying my products. So I'm not limited if I'm in Alberta or not, right? So and we all know like 96% uh, of businesses in Canada, it's run by small businesses. So it's not like the um, top companies that the major percentage of businesses, or maybe companies that are hiring up to 1,000, 5,000, or 6,000 people. But no, they're actually small businesses that have 2, 3, 4, 5 people, or 2 or 1 person working there. So it doesn't matter. You're not limited by Alberta right now. So I wouldn't say, and if it's something like a business like ours that is more, restricted by location, you just look at the markets, what kind of markets, I mean the market share that you can grab. So for your business. And that's what I wouldn't say you're not limited by being in Alberta. And Alberta is actually a good economy to be in. So it's like the top 3 economy, one of the top 3 economy in Canada. So I want to be in Alberta, and I think Alberta is a good place. And looking at the way things are in Ontario and BC in terms of accessing real estate and stuff like that. So people are beginning to move back to Alberta. And then COVID also create that opportunity for we to change the way we used to do business. Like, so people can work remotely, people don't have to be, they can work for a US company and they live in Alberta. So what it means is that if that person chooses to live in Alberta rather than BC, Ontario, it means that that person is buying groceries, that person is buying clothes, that person is buying, skin products or personal hygiene products, or or hosting, or that person will probably host some friends or events during the year if you're an event planner. So it all brings those other areas of life into it if they chose to live in Alberta. And with the immigration forecast coming, we know that most people would choose, after they've looked at Ontario, they've looked at BC, then the next place they look at is Alberta, right? So
yes,
we all know that for
Central
sure.
province.
So, so, and that's if those over 400,000 people coming in the next year to 2, plus the Ukraine new pathway for immigrants to come in. So we all know that that helps the province to be able to, we have more population. People will need more stuff. People will need more
Yeah,
things. So
yeah,
for me, it's a growing economy. It has never been static. There have
yeah.
been ups and downs in terms of the oil and gas, but hey, Alberta is one of the places to be right now in terms of the cost of living. Plus our taxes are low. So
Okay. I
Alberta is
appreciate.
one of the good places.
I'm feeling your excitement just now about the promise that Alberta holds excuse me, for Black immigrants. And I want you to share what your own hope is for Bulk by South. I know you have two stores, in the South and in the West. So your projection in 5 years, you would have conquered maybe Western Canada. And would you be in Ontario? Would you be in BC? Would you be in
Mhm.
Quebec in
Amen.
at that time? Share with us your hope for Bulk by.
Okay. Well, my hope for bulk Buy Wholesale, why we add that name is because we don't want to be, as much as we are a specialty store, we don't want to be limited by space or by name or by where we come from. We know we are rooted in Africa, but we want to be like you go to Italian Center, Italian Center is a beautiful, you feel like you're in Italy when you go in there.
Oh, yeah.
So that's our dream. That's something we want to model our business after. And, we cater for Africans as well as everybody that want to have a taste of what we do and what we eat in Africa in terms of our diet, in terms of our food. So food is something that brings people together. So our hope and our, our, our hope for the future is that Bulk Buy grows into a chain of stores. That we could even be part of one of the big chain stores, right? That's what we are
Amen.
actually hoping for, that. Or part of like we know TNT is part of Low Blow right now. But we just go in there and thought it's just an Asian store, but no, it's part of Low Block. So that's one of our dream and our hope. And we know we got on our side, we'll get there one day. So that one big chain store, we decide to keep us the way we are, like specialty, and at the same
Amen.
time buy into us. So that's just, taking African food to the next level, right?
Oh,
So
yeah.
that's our dream and hope.
Amen. Um, I was conversations with Mrs. Kemi Bolatito Bello, and I'm going to say this was end of part one. I think we should do another part because I still want to hear about your insights, your philosophy. I want to examine a bit more of how you've evolved to be this enigma of wisdom, enigma of resilience. I want us to talk about business growth, and most importantly, the books that you read to give you all this wisdom. So, conversations with Mrs. Kemi Bolatito Bello, part two coming soon. And so,
Okay.
on that note, we end the part one, and we ask our audience to join us for another conversation sometime soon with Edmonton's number one, Alberta's number one businesswoman, the CEO of Bulk by South.
Number one.
If you want
Who gave
African
me the
groceries,
title?
Alberta's top businesswoman, Mrs. Kemi Bolatito. You guys, you should stop by our store to get all the groceries you want. They're fresh, they're freshly made, freshly delivered, and you want to support local. Mrs.
Yeah.
Kemi
Support
Bolatito.
local.
Support
Yeah,
local.
thank you. Thank you very much for having me, T. God bless you, and hope to see you soon.
Enjoy your party this afternoon. Your faces, just enjoy
God.
the visit of the event.
Oh, thank you.
I love
Bye.
it. Okay, bye bye.